Hello and welcome to this Uni Taster On Demand event today. My name is John Sheik. I'm here from UniTasterDays and it's my job to introduce the event and introduce our speaker. The subject we're going to be looking at today is dentistry. And with these events, we like to cover why you might consider the course, what to expect on it, application tips and careers. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined today by Mark Patterson, joining us from the University of Leeds for this dentistry guide. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you, John, and welcome to this dentistry subject guide. My name is Mark, and I am an Education Engagement Lead Officer at the University of Leeds. So I work in our Health Science and Outreach team. So I spend my working time speaking to students up and down the country about applying to medicine, dentistry, healthcare, and psychology courses. So today I'm going to introduce you to dentistry. So in this guide, I'm going to cover why you might want to study a dental profession and introduce you to the different members of the dental team. And then I'm going to talk to you about studying dentistry at university, the application process, and share some top tips for applying to dentistry, and also talk to you about the different careers after you've graduated as a dentist as well. So why might you want to consider a career in dentistry? So dentistry is a challenging career. It is demanding. You will work with patients of all ages and from different backgrounds, but it is an extremely rewarding career to join. Dentistry can have a transformative effect on people's lives, whether that is taking someone's pain away if they're suffering from an infected tooth, whether it is fixing someone's smile and giving them the confidence to go about their daily life. So it can really have that transformative effect on people. You do get the opportunity to make a difference to people's lives every single day, whether that is giving a young child oral health advice and showing them how to brush their teeth effectively for the first time, or as I say, treating someone and making them feel confident in themselves again. You'll also get the opportunity as a dentist to work and serve the local community. So the vast majority of dental graduates will work in general dentistry, so working in their local communities. So you do get the opportunity to develop those relationships with your patients, which some other healthcare professions don't do because you often see different patients all the time. With dentistry, you're pretty much guaranteed a career for life. We're always going to have teeth, hopefully, and we're always going to need people to look after those teeth as well. You can also start on a good starting salary as a graduate dentist. So you'll start on above £29,000 a year after graduating from a dental degree. And we'll talk about some of the different options as we go through that today as well. In terms of lifelong learning with a career in dentistry, there's lots of opportunities to do further study and take on more responsibility to really keep yourself and your skills fresh as you go through your career, but also to allow you to develop in areas that you want to as you go through that career as well. There are also opportunities to take part in research, so you could go down more of a clinical, academic side of dentistry. And as I say, we will look at the different career options available in dentistry later in this guide. So now let's look at the different members of the dental team. So the dental team are made up of 5 main professions who all have different responsibilities, which are detailed in the General Dental Council scope of practice. So if you're interested in finding out a bit more about the different members of the dental team and what they do go and have a look at that after today's subject guide. So dentists or dental surgeons really lead the dental team, and they can provide all of the dental care that all the other professions can qualify to do as well. Dental therapists can provide routine dental work, so that might include doing clinical exams, scales and polishes, providing oral health advice, or taking impressions and carrying out some restorative work on baby and adult teeth. Dental hygienists are involved a lot in oral health care and treating gum disease. So again, that might mean scaling and polishing teeth. It might be that they take dental x-rays or they apply topical fluoride and fissure sealants to do some quite basic procedures. You'll often find if you want to train as a hygienist or a therapist, you'll actually do a course at university that normally lasts for 3 years, and you'll qualify in both of those professions. You can do both of what a therapist and a hygienist can do. You've then got dental nurses. So dental nurses really provide assistance to the whole of the dental team. So that might be looking after patient records, decontaminating instruments and maintaining equipment, and making sure all the relevant materials and equipment that the dentists and the dental team need are there for them. You've also got dental technicians who make up the dental team, and they spend their time making dentures, crowns, bridges, and braces that help improve how our patients appear, improve their speech and their ability to chew as well. But it's important that all these members of the team work together to provide the best level of care for their patients. So if you are interested in dentistry, it's really good to have a general understanding of all the different roles that make up the dental team to show that you have developed that insight into what it is going to be like working as a dentist. So let's look at how you train to become some of these professions then. So there are degree routes where you will have to go to university and do university level study to qualify. So if you want to be a dentist, you would do a dentistry or a dental surgery degree, and that will normally last for 5 years. If you want to qualify as a hygienist or a therapist, as I said, that's normally a dual qualified role, and that is a 3-year course at university. There are also many different routes into dental technology, which includes doing a foundation degree, which will normally last a year or 2 at university, or even an apprenticeship or level 3 college level study. And that's the same for dental nursing. You can do an apprenticeship or you can do a college course in dental nursing as well. But for the benefit of today's session, I'm going to talk mainly about dental surgery, but a lot of what I am going to talk about also applies to people wanting to apply to dental hygiene and therapy as well. So what should you expect when studying a dental degree? So the program is designed to prepare you to be a safe, competent dentist who can provide preventative and restorative treatments for problems that affect the mouth and teeth. It is an academically challenging course and it is very demanding on your time. It is a full-time course and you'll spend a lot of your time in clinics. So you'll be meeting patients, you'll be in lectures, you'll be in tutorials, you'll be in lab classes, developing your clinical skills before you treat patients for the first time. And you will spend a lot of your time on placement as well. That might be at a dental hospital. It might be in a community-based setting, such as a dental surgery. The teaching and learning on the course will be informed by research. So researchers across the country, but also researchers at your chosen dental school will use whatever they are developing at the moment and researching to make sure that your knowledge is up to date and it is the newest dentistry that's out there. Okay, so there's a lot of things that change in dentistry. So, for example, the COVID pandemic has led to the development of different handpieces to limit the aerosols that are distributed during dental surgery. Okay, so these kind of things are constantly changing. So the teaching and the learning that you will receive will be the most up-to-date information that you can. You'll find that as a result of the pandemic as well, a lot of dental school curriculums are more blended than they have been. So you will have lectures and seminars, some may be online, some may be face-to-face, some may even be pre-recorded. And that's allowing you to have the flexibility around your studies. But you'll find a lot of your time in terms of developing your clinical skills and your communication with patients will be done face-to-face. You'll be on placement, you'll be on clinics, developing those skills. You can also expect a wide range of on-campus and off-campus activities. So as I've said, your placements will be normally in the city or the town or the region, wherever your dental school is located. So for example, in Leeds, you could be in Leeds, but you might have outreach placements in Bradford, which is a town across from the city centre. In terms of your on-campus activities, as I mentioned, your dental school may have their own clinical skills facilities based at the university, or they might be based at a nearby dental hospital. So you can expect to be developing those skills in a safe, calm environment. You might also have the opportunity to take part in research, whether that is through a research module or a final year project as part of your dental degree, which allows you to develop those academic skills, which you might want to continue later on in life if you want to go down into an academic route rather than a clinical route. So how do you go about choosing a dental school then? So in the UK, there are 16 dental schools and 14 of them offer a standard undergraduate course that you can apply to with A-levels. And you can see the list of those dental schools on the right-hand side there. There are also options if you want to go into dentistry as a graduate. So you might do a biomedical science-based degree first and then apply to a graduate dental course. And there are also options that include preliminary years or gateway courses for students who may meet certain widening participation criteria and may not have the predicted grades or the right subjects to go straight into a standard entry course. And there's a number of different things you should consider when deciding which dental schools to apply to. And that might include some of the things we can see on the screen there. So each dental school will teach their course in a slightly different way, and that might be based on the different type of teaching that they have. So it might be an integrated course where you will have clinical experience alongside your lectures, your tutorials, your seminars. Or it could be a traditional based course where you do your academic content in the first few years of the course, and then your placement experience comes afterwards. Okay, so it's worth researching the different teaching styles and what best suits you in terms of how you like to learn. As I've already mentioned, your placements, the location of those placements when they are in the course will differ from dental school to dental school. So that again is something to research when you're looking into different courses. You'll also want to have a look at the different facilities on offer at each of the dental schools up and down the country, and that's subject-specific requirements, so within the dental school itself, but also the wider university facilities, so the sports facilities, the students' union, the library, all those different facilities that you will make use of during your 5 years studying a dental degree. Location is also something you might want to take into account. So that might be the distance from your home. So do you want to go really far away? Do you want to stay quite local to your hometown for your studies? Additionally, when you're thinking about those dental schools, you might want to be in a busy city where there's lots going on. Equally, you might want to be in a quieter town. Okay, so that's something you might want to consider when choosing a dental school. You might also want to look at the wider student experience of living in those towns and cities as well. So what is there in terms of nightlife, social activities, shopping, other kind of amenities? Where's your student accommodation in relation to the university as well? So lots of things to take into account when you are researching different dental schools. An additional thing is the entry requirements. So each dental school will require you to have different things in your UCAS application that they take into consideration when they're looking at your application. So it's worth making sure you're studying the right subjects and you're on course to get the right grades for the dental schools of your choice. So now let's look at applying to dentistry then. So as I've mentioned, dental schools will use the information from your UCAS application to help decide who to invite through to interview. This includes your GCSE grades, so you may need to have a certain number of GCSEs at a certain grade to be able to apply to that dental school. You may also need to have certain predicted grades in certain subjects depending on the dental school of your choice. So it is worth researching the entry requirements at each of the dental schools you want to apply to. And you can do that by looking at the Dental Schools Council's entry requirements for UK Dental Schools guide, or you can also look on the UCAS website where you can search for dentistry and all the different dental courses will come up. Additionally, on the UCAS form then will be your personal statement, and we'll talk about the kind of skills and activities you'll want to talk about in your personal statement in a moment. Universities will also look at your teacher reference, which will be written by a tutor at your college that attests your character and supports your application. Dental schools will also take this into account alongside your admissions test. And for most dental schools, you will have to sit the UCAT. For Leeds, you have to sit the BMAT. And they will use the result of your admissions test alongside all those other factors to decide who to invite to interview. And each university will use them in different ways. There will be different weightings for each part of the application. So it is worth looking on the individual university websites to find out a bit more about their admissions policy, how they shortlist applicants, so that you have the best chance of getting an interview that you can. So what kind of skills are dental schools looking for in your application then? So they may look for these skills either at interview or in your personal statement. And these are skills that really we're looking for. And when we think about a dentist, we think that, yeah, this is how we would describe them. So they need to have good communication skills. So that's the ability to articulate well. If you're giving someone oral health advice, you need to be able to do that quite clearly. You also need to be able to listen to your patients. So that's a really important skill to have, active listening, looking for signs of anxiety. The ability to work as part of a team is really important, as you will be part of that wider dental team, as I mentioned. And you also need to be a caring and empathetic person who understands the anxieties and the worries that some people have when they are going to the dentist. Dental schools may also look for examples of your professionalism and your honesty in your application or at interview. And they may also have ethical reasoning stations as part of that interview as well. And we'll talk about interviews in a little while. Other kind of skills universities might look for: problem solving, working under pressure, decision making, kind of skills. And they'll also be looking for your demonstrations of your motivation and insight. Why do we want to be a dentist? What do you know about dentistry? For dentistry in particular, universities may look for evidence of good manual dexterity, so good hand-eye coordination and your ability to have a steady hand. So it's worth thinking about if you haven't applied to dental school yet, and it is coming up in the next year or two, what kind of activities can you do to develop all of these skills? Because you do need to be able to evidence them either in your application or at interview. So let's talk about dental school interviews now then. So there are two main types of interview that dental schools use when they are shortlisting their applicants. And that may be a traditional or a panel interview where you're interviewed by a range of academics, students, maybe current professionals or alumni, and they ask you questions about the course and about your motivations and your skills. Most likely, you will attend something called an MMI, also known as a multiple mini interview. And this is a bit like speed dating. You'll move around numerous interview stations, assessing different skills, different tasks that you will do. And that again might be assessing your motivation and insight. So why you want to be a dentist, what do you know about dentistry? You also may have situational or scenario-based questions, which are asking you what you would do in a certain scenario. Again, looking for how you would react. You might also get a role play station where you have to act out a scenario with an actor. Again, putting yourself in the shoes of a dental student or a dentist. So they can see how you work under pressure and also see how you can demonstrate some of these skills that dental schools will be looking for. It might also be that you're asked to prepare a presentation before your interview or to interpret some data, looking at graphs and saying what you see from that graphs and interpreting what that means for dentistry. Okay, so there's a wide range of different things that could come up at interview, but I'm going to show you some resources at the end of today's session that can help you prepare for your interviews. So some quick top tips then. So it's really important that you do your research when you're thinking about applying to dentistry. So do make sure if you're in year 11 or you're at high school at the moment that you choose the right subjects to study at college or sixth form. You really want to be studying biology and chemistry at A level plus another subject. Some dental schools may require you to do maths as that third subject, so do some research depending on where you want to study. Make sure you choose a university and a course that is right for you and your circumstances. It is a personal choice where you apply to study, so do take into account all those factors I've just talked about when you're deciding where to apply to. And do some research into what those dental schools are looking for in your application. So some dental schools may need you to have a certain amount of work experience or work experience in a certain setting, or they may look for particular skills in your personal statement or an interview. So it's worth looking, as I mentioned, on their website and in their admissions policy to help you find out that information. It's also important that you develop those skills and attributes I mentioned. So if you're looked at that list of attributes that a good dentist would have and you're thinking, oh, I don't have anything that does that, talk to your careers advisors, talk to your teachers, see how you can develop those skills over the next few months and years. So I've also mentioned motivation and insight as I've gone through this session today. So that's really what you know about dentistry and what you understand about the role of the dentist as well. And there's a number of ways which you can develop that insight. It might be that you attend university events. So you might attend a taster day or a summer school or a webinar or a workshop. And that helps you develop your understanding of the dental team, how they work together, or even a subject masterclass. So something like dental anatomy. It could be that you've done some work experience and volunteering, which is fantastic if you can get it, because that is a real way of showing a real insight into what it is like working as a dentist on a day-to-day basis. You might want to do an online course. So I've put an image there of the Discover Dentistry massive online open course on the Future Learn website that was designed by the University of Sheffield. And that gives you a real good insight into what it is like studying dentistry and within the world of dentistry as well. You may want to join a mentoring program run by your local university that partners you with current dental students. So you can ask them questions throughout the year about studying dentistry or in the run-up to the application process as well. It could also be that you do some research and further reading around dentistry. So you'll look at how things like the COVID pandemic is affecting dentistry at the moment. It might be how automation or technological advances are affecting dentistry. And you might find articles like that in the British Dental Journal, which I've put on the screen there as well. So that's a really good source of all current research that is affecting dentistry. So there's a wide range of ways that you can develop that insight, and hopefully that will help you decide if dentistry is the right choice for you. So before I finish then, let's look at the different careers within dentistry. So after you've completed your 5-year degree, you will register with the General Dental Council as a dentist. If you want to work in the NHS, you then have to do 1-year foundation training to become an NHS dentist. But there's lots of other opportunities after that. So as you'll see from this screenshot from Health Education England, 90% of graduates will go into general dental practice. So they will work in a community dentist. They may even run their own dental practice. You could go on to dental core training and further develop your skills, work with specific patients, and then go on to specialty training, whether that's in orthodontics, pediatrics and working with children, or restorative dentistry, plus many other areas as well. Some graduates will actually go and do a medicine degree after they've finished their dental degree, and that's because they want to be a maxillofacial surgeon who deals with issues around the mouth, the jaw, and the face, because you have to be dual qualified in both medicine and dentistry to go into that career. So there's lots of opportunities. You could also go down the academic clinical route as well, where you spend some time working in dentistry, but some time training future dentists as well. So there's lots of opportunities after you've finished dental school for you to continue to develop your career as well. So before I finish, I'd just like to share some other resources for you that might help you in your journey into dentistry. So the Dental Schools Council has got information about applying to dentistry, work experience, interviews, all that kind of thing, as has the Study in Healthcare website, which has a dedicated area to support potential dental applicants. The General Dental Council is where you will find that scope of practice booklet, as I mentioned earlier, which details all the different procedures and responsibilities of the dental team. And they are the governing body for dentistry in the UK, who you will register with as a dentist once you qualify. You might want to reach out if you want to take part in any activities to do with dentistry to your local dental school outreach teams. They normally have an outreach team or a widening participation officer who runs events to support young people applying to dentistry. And if you do have any questions about the grades you need, the qualifications you need to be studying, or the admissions process, reach out to the dental school admissions teams at the dental schools that you're interested in. That's it from me for now, and thank you for listening to this dentistry subject guide.